My entitled coworker thought she could destroy my career, ruin my reputation, and steal my livelihood just to cover up her own incompetence. She thought because I was the quiet guy, I would just roll over and take it. She was dead wrong. She didn't know that while she was spreading lies about me to HR, I was meticulously documenting every single interaction. But the moment she instantly regret crossing me wasn't in the office, it was on the warehouse floor. She thought she was untouchable, screaming profanities at me, thinking she had me cornered. She didn't realize that standing 3 feet behind her, in the blind spot of the aisle, was the one person who could end her career in a heartbeat. When the dust settled, she didn't just lose her job, she faced the brutal reality of karma. If you think you've seen delusional behavior, wait until you see how this woman tried to turn the entire company against me, only to have her life completely implode. Let's get into it. To understand why this betrayal cut so deep, you have to understand where I was in life. This happened a few years ago. I had been grinding at this warehouse since 2015. It wasn't glamorous, the smell of cardboard dust, the constant beeping of forklifts, the concrete floors that killed your knees, but it was honest work. I kept my head down. I wasn't there to make friends. I was there to build my net worth and secure a future, and it was paying off. Fast forward 6 months into my tenure, and I got the tap on the shoulder. "We like your hustle," my boss told me. "We're promoting you to shipping coordinator." This was huge, a generous raise, a new title, an actual responsibility. I was coordinating parts for military contracts, truck parts, armored vehicle components. This wasn't just moving boxes. If I messed up, the company paid for the shipping twice. The stakes were high, but I was ready. Then I met Leslie. If I had to describe Leslie in one word, it would be toxic. But let's go with entitled. She was a short, chubby woman with a permanent scowl etched into her face. She walked around the warehouse like she was the golden child of the company, despite being objectively terrible at her job. She was the type of person who would clock in late, spend 40 minutes in the break room making coffee, and then scream at you if you asked her where an order was. She was loud, she was rude, and she acted like the world owed her a living. I stayed away from her. My strategy was simple: hi and goodbye. That's it. I treated her like a radioactive isotope. Get too close, and you're going to get burned. But I didn't realize that staying away wouldn't save me, because when a drowning rat needs a lifeline, they'll climb on top of anyone to keep breathing. And Leslie was about to drown. I had been in my new position for exactly 1 week. I was still learning the software, feeling good about the paycheck when the intercom crackled. "OP, please report to the main office immediately." It wasn't the casual, "hey, come here" tone. It was the formal, icy tone that makes your stomach drop. I walked into the office. The air conditioning was blasting, but I immediately felt sweat prickling on my back. Sitting there was my boss, his supervisor, and the HR representative, a woman named Sarah, who never smiled. I sat down, my heart hammering against my ribs like a trapped bird. Did I mess up a military order? I thought. Did I cost the company thousands? Sarah folded her hands on the table. "OP, we have received a serious complaint against you. You are being accused of sexual harassment." The room spun. I literally couldn't speak. It felt like someone had punched me in the throat. "What?" I finally choked out. "Who? That's impossible." "We can't disclose the name right now," Sarah said, looking at me like I was a criminal. "But the report states you have been making lewd comments and staring at a female employee, creating a hostile work environment." I knew instantly who it was. It had to be Leslie. She was the only one dramatic enough to fabricate something this vile. "It's Leslie, isn't it?" I asked, my voice rising. "Because if it is, that is a lie, a complete fabrication. I say hello and goodbye to her. That is it." They told me they had been investigating me for months. Months while I was working hard, trying to prove myself. They had been watching me like a hawk. I left that meeting shaking. I walked back to my cubicle, staring at the floor. I felt dirty. I felt targeted. I knew my reputation, my professional net worth was hanging by a thread. For the next few weeks, my life was hell. Leslie was on a warpath. She told anyone who would listen that I was a creep. I would walk into the break room, and the conversation would instantly stop. People would look at their phones. I could feel their eyes burning holes in my back. I isolated myself completely. I ate lunch in my cubicle, staring at a blank Excel sheet. I timed my bathroom breaks to ensure Leslie wasn't in the hallway. I felt like a prisoner in my own job. I finally snapped and requested a meeting with my direct supervisor. "You have to do something," I pleaded. "She is dragging my name through the mud. It's slander." My supervisor sighed, rubbing his temples. "Look, OP, we know she's lying. You know I shouted. Then why is she still here?" "She's playing the system," he admitted. "We were about to fire her for attendance and incompetence. She knew it was coming. So, she dropped this harassment claim as a shield. If we fire her now, she sues us for retaliation. She's claiming she's being targeted because she reported abuse. Our hands are tied until the investigation clears you." I stared at him. "So, you're telling me this woman threw a grenade into my life just to keep a job she sucks at?" "Yes," he said. "I saw red. This delusional woman was holding my career hostage. I lived in this purgatory for months." Leslie grew bolder. She knew the company was afraid of a lawsuit, so she stopped doing work entirely. She would mock me from across the warehouse floor, smirking, knowing I couldn't say a word back without it looking like retaliation. But karma works in mysterious ways, and sometimes it needs a little push. It was a Tuesday. I had my coffee, checked my emails, and needed to do my daily rounds to verify the military shipments. This required physically going to the packing stations. Leslie's station. I went to my boss. "I can't go over there alone," I said. "I'm not giving her any ammunition." "I'll come with you," my boss said. "I'll be your witness. I'll stand back and watch." We walked out onto the floor. The warehouse was loud. I approached Leslie's station. My boss stopped about 10 feet back, standing behind a pallet of boxes. Leslie didn't see him. Her back was to him. She was leaning on the counter, playing on her phone. "Excuse me, Leslie," I said, keeping my voice neutral and professional. "I need you to hand me the manifest for the truck parts order. It needs to be verified." She didn't even look up. She just snorted. "Leslie, I need the part." I repeated. She whipped around. Her face twisted in a sneer. "Why don't you get the fuck out of my face? Fuck off. You creep." Time seemed to freeze. I didn't get angry. I felt a wave of relief wash over me. I slowly raised my hands, palms up, and took a step back. "What did you say?" I asked, loud enough for the audio to carry. "I said fuck off," she screamed. From behind the pallet, my boss stepped out. His face was purple. "What exactly?" my boss boomed, his voice cutting through the warehouse noise. "Did you just say to him?" Leslie's face turned from smug arrogance to pure horror. She went pale, her mouth opened and closed like a fish out of water. I, she stammered. I didn't wait. I turned on my heel and marched straight to the HR office. I didn't knock. I walked in, my boss and supervisor trailing right behind me. I looked at Sarah, the HR rep. "I am done. This ends today. Either she goes or I go. I'm contacting a lawyer, and I will be suing this company and her personally for a hostile work environment and defamation. I will drag this through civil court like a messy family court divorce until I get my reputation back." I wasn't bluffing. They saw it in my eyes. "We need an emergency meeting," Sarah said, reaching for the phone. For the next 2.5 hours, we laid it all out. My boss testified to what he heard, and then Sarah handed me the file. "Do you want to see the investigation report?" She asked every word. I said, "It was shocking. They had interviewed 10 people. It turned out Leslie had tried to recruit other women to lie about me. She went to Coworkers and said, 'Hey, if you say he stared at you, we can get him fired.' But here's the instant karma. Every single person she tried to recruit told HR the truth. They all said, "No, OP is quiet. Leslie is trying to get us to lie." "We have enough," Sarah said, closing the folder. "The investigation is closed. You are cleared." "That's not enough," I said. "I want to file a formal complaint against her for creating a hostile workplace. I want it on record." Sarah looked stunned that I was fighting back. "On what grounds? Slander, harassment, intimidation, sabotage of company operations." I dictated my statement right there. I left nothing out. 2 weeks went by. The wheels of corporate justice grind slow, but they grind fine. I was at my desk when I felt that tap on my shoulder again. It was my supervisor. He looked different later. "Pack your things," he whispered. My heart stopped. "Am I being fired?" He smiled. "No, but you need to leave 15 minutes early today. Leslie is being terminated in about 10 minutes. She tends to get violent. We don't want you in the crosshairs." A wave of euphoria hit me. It was better than winning the lottery. "Understood," I said. I packed my bag. As I walked to my car, I saw security gathering at the front entrance. I drove out of that parking lot feeling like a 1,000-pound boulder had been lifted off my chest. For the first time in 9 months, I breathed easy. The next day, the atmosphere in the warehouse was transformed. It was peaceful. The toxicity was gone. My coworker told me what happened after I left. Apparently, when they fired her, Leslie lost her mind. She started screaming, crying, and throwing things. She vowed she would get me arrested. She screamed that she would sue everyone. She was fully delusional until the very end. One of the guys, feeling sorry for her, gave her a ride home. She spent the entire ride plotting her revenge, talking about how she was going to ruin me. He dropped her off and told her, "Leslie, everyone knows you were lying. Just stop." That was the last time anyone heard from her. I know you guys love a good update, so here's the aftermath. It has been a few years since the reign of Leslie ended. First, regarding her threats to sue. She went to a lawyer to sue for wrongful termination. How do I know? Because the company received a letter. However, once the company's legal team sent over the binder, the thick binder containing the 10 witness statements, proving she tried to suborn perjury, plus the documentation of her insubordination witnessed by management, her lawyer dropped her case immediately. She didn't just lose her job, she lost her reference. In this industry, everyone talks. She effectively blacklisted herself from any decent warehouse work in the city. As for me, I'm thriving. With the toxicity gone, my department efficiency skyrocketed. I've been promoted again since then. I'm now managing the entire logistics floor. My net worth is growing. My stress is low. And I have a great team. Sometimes, when I see a new hire acting a little too entitled, I get a flashback, but then I remember Leslie's face when she realized the boss was standing right behind her. And I just smile. Lesson learned. You can try to manipulate the system, but you can't manipulate the truth. And if you dig a grave for someone else, you better make sure you aren't the one falling in. What would you have done? Would you have waited 9 months or would you have quit? Let me know in the comments below.